Hey everyone, welcome to season 4, episode 15 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'll be damned. It's the Gentleman Guppy.
Okay. Wasn't sure where you were going to go with that one, but that's a nice one. So, yeah, we saw Waterworld.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
this movie.
You know, it gets kind of a bad rap.
Doesn't deserve it.
It's not going to be in my top, but it's kind of mid-tier for me. It's all right.
Bit higher than that, and it'll go down in future episodes. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I had a blast with this movie.
You know, there's really only a couple of times that kind of made me kind of cringe. But for the most part, I think, shockingly enough, I think a lot of people are kind of getting the right idea of what they're supposed to be doing in this movie.
Yeah,
And there's a lot more fun to be had. I don't know if some people it sucks some people out or something. I don't think I've seen this movie since it came out.
me neither. I
Yeah,
definitely
and I
haven't.
don't remember caring for it when it came out.
Same. I don't think I picked up on all how funny Dennis Hopper was in this movie.
Yeah, like I think there's so much more fun, tongue-in-cheek stuff going on in this movie that's just kind of like it's kind of a good time.
I thought so.
Yeah, there's only one time in the movie where I just kind of audibly laughed out loud because of how stupid it was. Um, but
What
we'll
was
get
that?
there.
Oh, we'll get that. All right. I can't
It's
wait.
gonna be an action. It's gonna be an action.
Oh, all right.
There's an action moment that just made me cackle and be like, "Oh my God, that's so stupid."
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. But otherwise that and there's some dialogue from one character that but it was mostly latter half. And otherwise, yeah.
Okay. Well, should we get into it then?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Waterworld.
Waterworld. And this is my pick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the polar ice caps melt.
You've abandoned IMDb again, huh?
I think I could do this one. I think this one's pretty manageable.
All right, IMDb doesn't like two sentences, so
Okay, so the polar ice caps melted. The world is now completely covered in water. But this little girl has a tattoo that says that she knows the way to get to dry land. And everybody is basically after her. Some don't believe, some believe. And this loner mutant is gonna help her get to dry land.
that was like a paragraph.
That's not a paragraph. I thought that was,
More than two sentences.
you know what? I think that's still pretty good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I do.
Grading
Thank
on
you
a
very
curve there,
much.
teach.
I think my students wish I graded with a curve.
I'm sure. So, in the tradition of Sergio Leone, our hero has no name. It is only occasionally referred to as
The
the
Mariner.
Mariner,
Yeah.
played by Kevin Costner. Mariner is a loner salvager who travels Waterworld in his tricked up trimaran sailboat. Nobody can get his sails up faster than him.
Oh yeah.
I
They just
also
pop
really
out.
I like the harmonica setup he's got on the boat too. So like music blows like you're in Once Upon a Time in the West when the wind's blowing. We never see it again after the beginning of this movie, but I still dug it.
Yeah.
We'll eventually learn that the Mariner is a mutant or a muto who has
Yeah,
developed
although that seems
gills.
to be like only like one character or so that calls him that, but
No, multiple people call him Muto.
do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So he's developed gills behind his ears that let him breathe underwater. It's a sweet ass mutation in Wonderworld, if you ask me. And Wonderworld. Ah.
Yeah. I'm curious how does that work? How does there's just natural evolution? Is that what's happening with this guy?
Yeah, that's what everyone says. It's evolution.
I would have liked to see other characters like
With
have a
mutations?
mutation. That not
Well,
maybe necessarily has to have his mutation, but like it seems like it's a thing in this world, but we never see.
seems like they kill anyone who has one. So that's why I really don't see one.
Maybe that's what it is.
But in the extended cut, that idea gets touched upon. And we'll get into that at the very
Oh,
end.
really?
Yeah. Am I bothering you over there, buddy? What you up to?
I just realized how red I was on
Oh,
screen, and I did
oh,
not like how red I was, and I was like, all right, I gotta get some light on me. I totally forgot to do the light in my setup, so
oh, okay. You're
now
all
I
good
look
now?
somewhat better.
Okay.
Sorry, a
Uh,
little vanity.
just for the YouTubes. We eventually learned that Mariners. Oh, sorry, I did that already. Sorry.
Yep.
So unfortunately, it's clear that the remaining bits of humanity don't feel the same way as I do about having that, and they kill anyone on site who has it. Um, and you could, it, let's see. So yeah, it's clear that like because he's just been this everyone in the world feels this way about mutants.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's basically avoided people all his life, and
Yeah.
it's caused him to be almost like he doesn't talk much. Kind of seems like he's a stunted child at times.
This seems right.
Don't
Yeah.
touch his stuff.
He
So this
likes it where it is. He likes it how it is.
don't touch my stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing I vividly remembered about this movie is Kevin Costner drinking his own piss. I didn't
Yeah.
remember that happened in the very beginning of the movie,
Very
which
first thing. Yep.
which hats off. That's a hell of a way to start your movie.
Yeah, I guess my mother-in-law is a really big fan of this movie. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
And so my wife was down at first with me watching it and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I know this movie well." I didn't know it was not a known thing for me at least. I knew a lot of her movies she liked. This was not one of them. And so she like immediately starts FaceTiming her mom, and it's just the shot she shows of him peeing in the cup, and without any context or anything from anybody. She says, "Oh, it's Waterworld." She just knew it just instantly.
Well, that's the only movie I can think of off the top of my head where I
Well, I'm
see
just
somebody
saying
peeing
you're
in a
not
cup.
alone. Like it is kind of like this
Yeah,
weird
all right.
iconic thing. It kind of sets you right off on like, whoa, what is going on? This man is drinking his pee.
Hmm. So after stopping at the atoll and getting what supplies he could for his dirt and a couple of shots at the Hydro Wet Bar, he decides it's time to go and holy shit, some of the locals ask him to impregnate one of their daughters. They're not worried, they're worried about inbreeding. They offer him all the supplies he needs once she's pregnant. And Mare's like, no dice, you don't have anything. You're dying.
I mean,
And
they
that's
show it with the bare shelves and everything in the shop.
right,
You're like, oh
right.
man.
And that's when the elders get suspicious that a man who spent 15 months out on the water by himself turned down a woman. Guess we lost all the gays. I don't know. That's too bad.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's on a boat with other men. He's by
Well,
himself.
I'm just saying, maybe he was, it just didn't. He's like, I'm not interested in that.
Well, yeah, true, 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 true. Yeah.
Maybe if you got a muto boy who can, I don't know. Any trans people here? No? Okay. Uh, anyway, yeah. So anyway, they're suspicious, so they think he's like a smoker spy, and then the
Yeah.
guards move in to rough him up and discover he's a mutant with gills and sounds the alarm. He almost gets lynched, and until the sheriff intervenes, wanting a more lawly process. And eventually, he gets sentenced to be recycled in the mud pit.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, huh?
I like it. It was like it's a detail that I thought actually kind of worked in the world. So like, dirt is the most precious thing, right?
Right.
Because there's just no earth around there. They're all like surviving around this like one tiny tree or big
Yeah.
tree. That's how they've put their society around it. So everything is about preserving that tree. So when the people die, they put you in the mud pit, which goes back into replenishing nutrients in the soil for the tree. So I was like, yeah, it works. I thought it was
Yeah.
cool. Um, so Helen, because Mariner had all this dirt, gets suspicious and asks Mariner if he knows where dry land is. Uh, and Oh, I'm sorry. I fast forward through all this. Sorry, I got confused because I watched this movie twice in short order. So yeah, eventually Mariner's going off with Helen, and she asks him where dry land is, and he's like, "Yeah, we should actually just throw Enola, the little girl, with you over the
Yeah.
side of the. Yeah, we should just kill her. His boat is
Better
busted.
now than later kind of deal. There's no way you guys are gonna make it. There's not
Yeah,
enough stuff here.
his boat is busted, and they're taking on water, and his piss to water converter isn't equipped for three people. I guess I don't know. Yeah. So Helen offers sex in exchange for Enola's life. She sends her below in disrobes. Thank you to the butt double. Appreciate that. Uh,
Yeah.
Mariner is tempted, but he's clearly not into how not into it she is, and it reminds him of how the Atoll people treated him, and he dismisses the offer. He's like, "You got nothing I need." And naked and covering herself with the dress, Helen grabs a spear gun and threatens Mariner. My dude just drops the sail on her and hits her in the back with a paddle. I mean, this he's definitely giving off serious like Eastwood, you can't touch me vibes. Like I
Yeah, he's not going to take any of your shit.
no.
And so he's immediately laying down his kind of law, I guess, of sorts. And I like how like the scene where he like chops her hair off and then the little girl talks back to Manola and then he chops her hair off and you just get the the
Well,
scene
because
with him with the short hair.
he caught that she had the chalk in her hand again.
Yeah.
So he's like, so she
Yeah.
kind of hides it and like, oh boy, yeah, yeah. He chops all their hair off as well, most of their hair off as punishment.
Yeah.
Just like this guy's just like, mm-mm.
Yeah, he's not having it. It's his this is his boat. He likes how he likes it and he's gonna be very firm on this.
The relationship between him and Enola is key for me in this movie.
Yes, it is. They both
And
see a sense of I don't know, abandonment from society, shunned of sorts. People think
they're
they're
both treated like
freaks.
freaks because she's got the tattoo
And I
and
think
like
he
draws
likes
pictures of
how
strange
she
places.
constantly stands up for herself, takes no shit kind of deal, and he sees that in himself kind of deal, even though he's very annoyed to a comical level about how much she talks. You
Yeah,
know, like, and I like too the towards the end when the villain kind of brings it up about her talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." Like,
I noticed. Yeah.
I
Well,
noticed that.
I like the part like she goes up to him. She's like, you wouldn't be so ugly if you cut your hair or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just picks her up and throws her overboard.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
just like
then
his guy is just like constantly coming off as a jerk, and it takes a while for him to warm up. But you're not annoyed by him either. You kind of like understand it because they show you all that bigotry and hatred he had early on.
right. And you also see him eventually warming up too, right? Like there's the moments too where um they meet the stranded guy kind of deal and
The
they decide
Drifter,
the drifter, they try to trade with him. And
yeah,
so immediately you think he's like this bad guy, he's gonna offer her up almost prostitute style. But then
half an
immediately
hour.
it's like, yeah, no, I taking it back, I'm resending, you know what I mean? So like every time you think maybe he's like, oh, maybe he really is just like a bad guy, there's always some kind of redemptive thing that like, even when he throws her overboard and Helen goes to chase after her, he turns the boat around. You know what I mean? So it's like he never goes to reprehensible levels or anything.
No, the only time he actually hits one of them is actually kind of really funny. So like one of the smokers' planes comes and starts circling the boat,
Mm,
and Enola waves. He just smacks her in the back of the head. Like,
yeah.
what are you thinking about? Something
But
out of
that's such like a
Sopranos. It's
weird
great.
dad response. Like
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
yeah.
like Tony Soprano to his kid. It's just really funny. Um, let's see. That yeah, that Kim Coates scene was like dark with the
Yeah.
Drifter,
Yeah.
where I don't know. I kind of wish we could have seen the fight underneath the boat
Yeah, they just cut away from it and
because they wanted the joke of like, oh, did he not make it? Because Drifter's the first one up.
he
He's like,
comes
where?
out
But
first, right?
him mumbling like, "Where's my boat?" He's clearly like, okay, he's done for.
Well, he almost turns and you see immediately there's blood all over his back. So it's like, okay, like
Right, right.
if he won, why is the blood all over his back? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So,
No, no.
and his head quickly pops up. So it's like, all right, whatever.
Um, what'd you think of the scene where Mariner finally takes Enola swimming?
Way too long. They really dragged it out. Like this is like, can you read my mind? Kind of a scene almost. It just really drags. And there's a lot of slow-mo type of stuff going on in that too. So it's like, I
I, you
get
know,
it. I liked it. I think it was necessary, but it's like, all right, we we don't need to dwell on this. We don't need another shot of her doing something and you're holding her stuff. Like we don't need that again. Like,
Wow. You're a
yeah.
father to a daughter and you just nothing, huh? You're cold-hearted.
No, I liked it, and I think it's necessary. It's just dragged on.
All right. Oh, well, speaking of
And then
dragging
like
on,
constant shots of Helen being like, oh, like okay.
yeah, she was definitely liking what she was seeing. Uh, what'd you think of the scene where he shows Helen where dry land is? Quote unquote dry land. It's like dry land
I
is a myth. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll show it to you. And then they go underwater.
I was shocked by first I'm curious how deep this the water is here,
I
right?
was laughing to myself, like these gills make him breathe, but they don't like he's still affected by water pressure.
Right.
Depth pressure. What are we doing?
It should, but I can kind of like whatever mutant, sure, you can kind of explain that away, but
Yeah, well
that
now
they
he's
would have the kind of weird makeshift contraption for her to be able to do this was kind of crazy. And to have enough air somehow for it. But then also they really show them going around through this like underwater city landscape, which I did like the visual shot of the submarine in it. I thought that looked kind of cool. But otherwise, like they're like almost taking turns down streets. It's like, how long is this cord?
it goes on a while, and it's like,
Yeah.
we get it.
It's like how like they're nowhere close to your ship at this point or whatever. Like this is kind of weird. Like
Hmm.
this
Yeah,
that
long
rope's
rope.
tangled up in something. Like
Long
what?
rope.
That's a long rope.
Let's see.
That's a thing because there's not a whole
So in
lot.
the end, at the end of the movie, they find dry land,
Hmm.
and it's Hawaii.
Of course.
Congratulations, everyone. We found Hawaii.
Yeah.
Not actually Hawaii, and I'll get into that later. Uh,
I was assuming it's like it's Mount Everest or something.
that's right. It is Mount Everest, and we find out in the extended.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they were trying to give the vibe that she was the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama or something.
I hadn't even thought about that. Wow.
Because
Yeah.
she kind of does this like this is my home kind of thing, and like there's a whole tradition of the Dalai Lama where you choose a thing that's yours, and that's how the next Dalai Lama is selected by choosing something
Oh,
that was originally yours.
okay. But
That's
she's not a descendant. She literally came from there, which is one of the funnier things about this movie. Like she's been
yeah,
gone for like 6 years in their bones. I don't know
yeah.
if they'd be bones that fast. Just
No, I think
bones.
she's reincarnated, and
No, she's
that's
not.
no, okay. Well, that's
No,
what I was
because
thinking of the reincarnation of Dalai Lama, and that's why
no,
she
no. I
like knew it.
understand that idea. I'm
Yeah,
sure there's some truth to that, but it's like she's not actually been reincarnated. She actually came from there. Somehow she got from there to the atoll on a like Superman, like a crib and dirt. They sent her out and a tattoo, which it's impressive how
it's
that
so
back
weird.
tattoo has uh stretched so well over a period of 6 years in the child growing.
Yeah, I would be really curious. Like, yeah, wow. Like, that's what I was like. Wait, how the whole logic of the tattoo was like weird to me. It was like, was she born with this thing? Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it.
No, gave it to her as an infant, and the thing just grew perfectly.
Wow.
So yeah, Mariner decides after they've gotten there, he's like, yeah, this isn't for me. Uh,
Yeah. I can't get what is it? He's like calling it out on its movement or the lack of movement or whatever. It's like it's
right,
just
yeah.
not
It's
right
land
for him.
sickness.
Yeah.
So
Makes
Enola
sense
gives
with someone with gills, I guess,
right. Well, it makes more sense, a little bit more sense in the extended cut, but we don't actually need the information, so I like this ending better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Enola in tears gives him a smooch on the cheek, and Mariner gives Helen a smooch and sails away on a new boat. And that's the end of that movie. But
So, there was a
I thought Costner is like really good in this movie. Uh, he's funny and he pulls off the action scenes very well.
there's a couple of lines towards the latter half of this movie that are not good from him. Um,
Like what? Do you know off the top of your head or
gosh, I told you I didn't do well with my notes today.
I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, no, it's my fault. I was busy trying to get ready for Thanksgiving, and I lost track of time, and I didn't get to do it. But no, there's man, I
It's okay.
if
We don't
I'll
need to
try to
go
come
over.
across it or look around, but there was a few times where it's like, ugh, like. I guess especially when there's a few times where they tried to have to make him be a little bit more vulnerable, and a couple times where I just and it was really in the latter parts. I could only think maybe two or three that kind of made me go, ugh, that
Yeah.
didn't sound great. But otherwise, he didn't really do a whole lot. And the whole, I mean, like they didn't have him do more than those few things in those times. Otherwise, I think the humor he's really good at, the action, of course. I think he's always been able to do action really well. I like this kind of, you know, man with no name grump thing he's
Yeah.
got going
Just
on. Like
doing a Western, essentially, for
yeah,
him.
he pulls all that off. I like his little moment with the villain towards the end.
Hmm.
I thought he was fun in that part too. There's just a couple times where it's kind of like, oof, that didn't come off great. But it's just the nature of this type of man with no name character because you're purposely withheld so much. There's only so much you can do here. You know what I mean?
Sure, but if you're not an engaging screen presence, it can be a real snooze.
Yeah.
So but I thought Kastner was and is, so I gave him a 3.5.
Yeah, we're not far off. I went three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Villain.
Yeah, buddy.
Our villain is the Deacon of the D's, played in spectacular fashion by Dennis Hopper. Uh, Deacon leads the Smokers, who seem to have all the guns and ammunition in Waterworld, and they live in the D's with a once healthy supply of oil that is beginning to run out because they've added so many to their ranks. He has promised his crew dry land, but he's mostly just blowing smoke up their ass to keep control and stay in power.
Yeah. Which
Which,
so much of this, I think like the one kind of problem is like so much of that kind of information is learned like way later. You know what I mean?
right.
Especially when he's like pretty much giving his speech, and then like after the speech, there's some comments made too, like how he's like, well, yeah, they don't have to know that I don't know how to read the map. Like I just need to buy time. Like so much information comes like way later, and motivations and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's kind of interesting to get that kind of stuff that much towards the end half of the movie for a villain, which is interesting to
I,
get it that late.
uh, I didn't need to know anything else because at first he's just like, they want the map, so obviously they're looking for dry land. But
Right. Well,
like
he's so much fun right
this is
from
a
the
this is a
start.
Mad Max villain. He just
Yeah,
is.
he really is.
This is very much a Mad Max movie. The writer of the co-writer of the movie admitted to like, yeah, I was thinking about the Road Warrior. I'm like, no, no kidding. Uh,
Yeah. Especially like the, yeah, here's the bad guys who just want oil kind of deal, like or whatever, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But like right away, like him, on his little like pleasure boat looking thing that
Yeah.
looks like something straight out from Return of the Jedi.
Mm.
He's got his own little throne seat and just like these boys waving flags next to him. He's got a little like umbrella thing, and it's just like, and he's cracking wise jokes like almost immediately, and it's like it's so much fun
Hmm.
right from the first scene that he's in it.
Some of the stuff I'm going to cover in action. Some of them I'm going to cover here,
Okay.
because there's some just hilarious line readings from Dennis Hopper in this movie.
Yeah.
But like, let's start with like the Nord brings Deacon, who is now sporting a large bandage over one of his eyes, which you'll find out why later. To a couple of guys strung up for questioning, and he's like, "If you'll notice the arterial nature of the blood coming from the hole in my head, you can assume we're all having a lousy day."
Yeah.
Uh, and so then he promises both strung up guys, first one to tell him about the girl with the tattoo lives. They both answer very quickly, and Deacon just kills one for sake of coherence. And the guy that lives tells me he thinks he saw the girl on the Muto's boat. Deacon is satisfied and moves to kill him, and the guy begs, "But you said you wouldn't kill me if I talk. Did I say that? Oh, I might have." And he just hands the gun off to the Nord, who just kills the guy for him.
Yeah.
I love the Deacon.
He's so much fun.
Um,
And like every little bit, there's never really a down moment. Like even like him talking to Enola like later on in the end towards the end of the movie is so much fun.
You
him
know how to read
trying
the
to get,
map?
yeah.
No. Setback.
Yeah, but it's so weird. Like he's talking actually so weirdly sweet with this girl, and he's really not going full on
Offers to
villain
sit on his
or
lap in not a creepy way. Yeah.
yeah, like it was weirdly sweet the way he's like interrogating this girl. Like,
Like an evil grandpa.
yeah, you really could have played that a different way, and it was fun and playful almost the entire time. Or him
Yeah.
showing off his eye or the new eye thing that he gets in.
Before that, what'd you think of the eye all like effect when it's all out of there? Like the first time we see it.
I thought it looked good.
I thought it looked like something Savini would have done. I thought it was great.
To be honest, effects wise and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty good. Like a lot of it holds up. There's a few underwater shots that some rear projection doesn't hold up, but it's kind of not much. It really is very limited in that. So to be honest, there's a lot of practical good stuff going
We'll get
on in
into
this
that.
movie.
Yeah, but absolutely.
Yeah.
Deacon gets like the crudest surgery ever with lots of like wires sticking sewn into him and sticking out.
Yeah.
And he has a dude paint a golf ball to match his blue eye, and he looks ridiculous.
It's
And then he's
funny.
and he's just like better not screw up my short game, which just
Yeah, how would he have any
like you know what golf is? Why? How do
yeah.
you know how to play golf?
Yep. I think doesn't he make another comment about golf of sorts towards the end action scene too?
Yeah, probably.
Could have sworn there was one more. It was just like, what? What? I don't understand. Like, could you at least show him some sort of golf thing going on his little ship yacht thing
They
here?
do in the extended. They show him like putting with something like I think
Okay, so at least that would make more sense because otherwise you're like, what is going on here? They know
yeah,
what
no,
golf is?
but it's still weird.
Yeah,
Like the rules of what they remember from the before
before
times
times. Yeah.
uh are fast and loose.
Yeah, because like sometimes they have like weird names for things, and then sometimes it's like appropriate names for things.
Right, right,
Like,
yeah.
but it's yeah, that is weird. Like really, we would have forgotten the word for water, but so we call everything hydro. What?
Well, how about they call it gasoline go juice, but they know how to refine oil. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
sure. I'm trying to remember. There was one other thing that really ticked me off about that kind of stuff, but I'll try to remember it later.
Well, what's great though is like, uh, I love the whole crew just like complimenting his eyes, like, oh, looks great, looks better than your real
Yeah.
one. And then Tegan asks his boy Toby for a second opinion. He's like, looks like shit. He's like, that's why I love children, no guile. And he checks himself in the mirror. It does look like shit, and it feels like cold shit. And then a dude runs into the room, and he turns his head real quick, and the eye just pops out. So funny. And I love the old guy in the oil pit with the
How
D's.
insane is that? I
They just
can we just quickly talk about his death? I know it's action, but
he's just
it's
like, oh,
so funny.
so fun. Oh, thank God.
Oh my God. Like, this guy clearly has
They don't
been
let him
left in
out.
this dark
Yeah,
oil pit for like such a long time to track the measurements of this oil. So
right.
he welcomes death. It's so sad and funny.
So funny. Uh, so I love the part two later on where he's captured Mariner and Helen and them, and he's like talking to the door. He's like, "Remind me again, what do we do when neither one of them talks?" It's like, "It's never happened before." Yeah, never happened before. All right, they won't tell us where she is. Do both, kill him, and he fires in the air, and hiding Enola just reveals herself screaming like, "No!" And it's like, ah, so gullible. Um, yeah. Oh, how about the fact? So I didn't. Did you remember that this thing was the Exxon Valdez from the beginning?
No, I took notes though. I do have notes of it in my of that.
I
That's what it
literally wrote
was.
down D's. This better not be the Exxon Valdez. And sure enough, there it was. And to even have Captain Joe Hazelwood's portrait in the.
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
you
they
remember?
really hit you over the head with it in
Like
this
I
movie.
did not remember that man's name, but I was just looking
Oh,
like,
I didn't either.
yeah, is that? Yep, okay, it is. Did you know that ship, which had the famous oil spill in 1989, continued in service for another like 23 years. They just kept on changing the name.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I feel like that's the mode of like a lot of corporations or churches, move priests around, it's like similar kind of stuff,
I'm just saying, if I was Exxon, I'd be like, let's just keep on. Yeah, it's fine.
So the South
Maybe we'll
Park,
retire that one and go to write off.
the South Park joke. We're sorry. It's on the
Yeah,
bearskin rug. We're sorry.
right. Um. Oh, and last, I just want to talk about like. So at first, I'm like making fun of this movie for like a mariner climbing up these convenient holes in the side of the boat,
Oh
the
yeah.
D's. I'm like, that's weird. Why are these here? That's ridiculous, just for convenience's sake, so he can climb up. And now it's revealed that he's turned the Exxon Valdez into a rowboat, a giant like Viking like rowboat.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any amount of rowing that's going to get that thing to move.
Well, especially because they show like how like what do you call the calta what do you how do you want to say it? Like the crud and accumulation of sorts that is built up around the bottom of that ship.
Barnacles, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
As soon as I saw that kind of buildup when he was just starting, and he was like almost like, "Is this land?" Like he was almost kind of like, "What is this that I'm climbing on at first?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no way in hell that thing is moving.
right.
Like you need a lot more rows, like oars, should I say, right?" And those oars looked pretty flimsy. Like they looked like they were like tied
Thin metal.
together
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
but I loved the Deacon. Hopper is great in every scene they have him in. And I don't, he's not obviously the most physical threatening person.
No, he's not. He's not a physical threat.
But Hopper's got that energy. He's always dangerous, so you still feel it. So I gave this
Yeah.
category a four.
Well,
I
clearly he
love the
always
villain.
he's the smarts, right? He's the brains of things kind of deal. Although he seems to constantly get outsmarted and loses almost every single time. I mean, the only reason why he ends up kind of getting the girl is because why the hell are you taking this girl underwater to visit dry land when you just escaped not too long ago? You really think you evaded and got away? Like, of course they found you and you're surrounded as you come up. Like, this is so stupid. So, otherwise, he gets taken out and that's about it. But yeah, I did not go that high. I went three.
He made Dennis Hopper sad.
Dennis Hopper is a lot of fun, but I mean, I guess maybe I would have wanted more. Again, so much stuff from him comes so much later. Um,
Well, you know what? What with Kevin Costner's character not talking a lot, a lot of the dialogue falls to Janine Triplehorn and
yeah,
Dennis Hopper, and I think that Dennis Hopper especially shines
yeah,
in keeping things
I agree.
exciting and moving. So I
But
had
he's
to
like
reward
this
that.
deacon prophetizing type of stuff. But again, that's like later. Like you don't get any of that in the majority of the movie where he just seems to be just head pirate,
There
basically.
was more, they cut it out.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he in the extended cut, he gives like a whole sermon after they've taken it over,
Yeah, because you
right
don't get
before he
any
goes
of
to
that till
interrogate the
that
guys.
ends little speech to his people. That's it. So
Right.
otherwise, like I don't know. There's just too many holes here to really go much higher. But he's still so much fun, so it's kind of hard to go any lower than three. I think would
All right.
be a disservice.
Action.
A lot of
So,
good explosions.
hmm, yeah, you definitely
Yeah,
felt the burn from. It's like, oh, these are all real.
they're good
Uh,
practical explosions. There are a few of them. I was like, nice.
so yeah, in the very beginning, there's like some really great boat action in the beginning. Uh,
Kara ended up
uh,
watching like half this movie with me, my daughter.
yo, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it was like they don't have school the next day because it's Thanksgiving break here, and like
Right,
so she was just wanting to stay up and she just sat and watched, annoyingly like on my arm as I'm trying to type notes, but
right.
it was fine, right? And I had to pause like twice because she had so many questions.
Hmm.
So that was a little annoying, but I was impressed by how much she like wanted to watch this insane movie. But her first thought, which was so funny to me, was, why is he driving Moana's boat?
Oh,
And I was like, that's kind of funny. This is a much older movie though, daughter. So this boat came first, but it's, I guess, modeled after actual Polynesian, Hawaiian, like that's what their
yeah.
boats looked like. So fair. Like fair comment to make, but like it's so funny that as a kid who's grown up watching Disney stuff, for her that's the first thing she thought of.
Right.
But it is a cool boat. It's cool. He's got so many contraptions, and I mean, it's like a Bond boat, post-apocalyptic Bond boat.
In that world, yeah, it basically is. Uh, yeah. So we get the exciting boat chase at the beginning of the movie where Mariner has been trespassed against by another drifter and
Yeah,
snuck up on by two smokers at the same time.
I do
And
enjoy his face, Costner's face, when he sees that the drifter guy is taking his limes.
yeah,
It's such this look of like, what? Like,
it's low, stealing another man's fruit. Not cool.
a
And
lot
then
of
he
limes
like,
on it too.
yeah, and he gets well important stuff for sailors.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's able to hook, and then he's like, you see, it's really Costner though. They're leaning over the thing and hooking the salvage that he just got. Yeah, so he's able to hook the salvage and then runs over the other guy's sailboat who robbed him of his limes.
Yeah, just like totally like runs him over basically, which is fun.
It's exciting boat action.
Yeah, it gives the what do they keep calling the smokers, right?
Yeah,
Gives the smokers another target, so they're not going to go after him basically anymore as
yeah.
he
I don't need to
he
be the
speeds
fastest. I
away,
just need to
right?
be faster than you.
But there's a lot of shots of this movie where it's just kind of fun, mostly because how it looks like it would be so much fun. So you immediately, as an audience, are like, "Oh, that would be so much fun to like." I'm gonna swing over here and do this big swing around to the other side of the boat, and he's gonna
Yeah, he's
do
arrow
this
flitting it.
doohickey and do that thing, and then he's gonna maneuver and hop the boat, and he does that a lot, like throughout the movie.
Hmm.
That's actually just it's just kind of fun to watch, but I think it's almost like the same way that I thought of when I watched Hook and the Lost Boys, and the Lost Boys are doing their thing, and then I'm like, this looks like so much freaking fun. You know what I'm saying?
What were they
When they're
doing
like
that was so much?
skateboarding and they're
Oh,
they're doing like a power glide or whatever to one to part to the other part, you know what I mean? Like in their tree forts, how like the whole, you know what I mean? Like it's just so much fun that I can imagine myself in that moment doing those things that'd be fun. It's
right.
kind of what I feel almost when I'm watching Costner do this stuff on the boat. Like this just looks like so much fun
Yeah,
swinging around and doing all this stuff. I mean, it's mostly pretty cool. The only time that I thought was like, oh, that's ridiculous is when he has that little like cannon thing that pops out and shoots another sail to make him go even faster. It's like, well,
I kept on
okay,
thinking about Summer Rental where they put up like John Candy's boxer shorts for the extra
right,
sale.
yeah. But I do, but as soon as I'm like, okay, that's kind of dumb and stupid, it immediately gets shut down by our villain. So I was like,
Right,
okay, thank you. This is fun. So
yeah. Well, let's get to the bread and butter. Let's get to the atoll attack.
now this is the
Smokers
thing that's going
are,
to be in Universal Studios, right? That's the part that's
I believe so, yeah.
yeah.
Smokers are attacking just before the town could kill Mariner. And they're there because the Nord tipped them off about Enola. And they start off with like an anti-aircraft gun and turn the atolls like giant walls into Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Making some big holes in that sucker.
It's so crazy how they're like, there's like one guy's job just to shovel bullets and ammunition, but it just seems to be like in a pit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how any of that works. How does that make sense? But whatever. It's cool.
Despite them being evil industrialists, they do believe in recycling to an extent. So,
Yeah, I get it's just but it's so like how does the pit to then go into the gun
oh,
perfectly to fight like maybe that's because they do show a lot in this movie that things jam constantly.
right.
Yeah, like the this guy's gun jams, I think like twice. at least, and then in the plane later, his gun jams too. So like this is a thing that seems to be common.
Right. Uh, yeah, the atoll people just have like water cannons and bows and arrows.
Yeah. Well, they have, yeah,
Smokers
some things that light on fire that they throw
smokers
too.
have all the guns, and they have airplanes and water skiers and jet skis
Ramps.
that are able to be, pushed up. Somehow the jet ski's able to get over those ramps, and I'm like, and it over the wall. I'm like, no, I could maybe buy the jet skiers. Just no
Yeah,
way. It's the jet ski getting that, the water skiers, not the way the jet ski's getting that much air.
right.
But I love watching the water skiers and the jet skis anyway doing it. It's cool.
Sure, it's fun. Or even the jet ski that's like can go underwater basically and pop up the other
That
end
one
and kind
bothered
of
me
do.
more than anything else. I'm like, you can't do that.
I mean, it's funny how they like figure out how to like anchor their jet skis down, like the later scene where they're like stealth hidden kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah. What's that to the bottom of? Or I
Yeah,
guess,
exactly. Like
whatever.
I'm totally lost on like what parts are deep and not deep or what's going
It's all
on. But
deep. Like you don't need to go all the way down, but to make it like only go so far down, that's a real interesting trick.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, that's where Gregor accidentally gets knocked back and activates his secret airship, which is slowly filling with air. And Helen and Enola try to get on and jump on, but it's too late. And then Deacon orders the airship shot down. And then as the anti-aircraft turns to start firing, a jet ski comes flying into the path and huge explosion.
explode.
Yes. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Helen breaks him out, Mariner out because that's the only ride out of town now. And
I love how
Mar
his response is when she's like, "And you're gonna take us with you." Okay, like it's so like,
sure. He just says
yeah, is that
sure.
what it's sure?
Sure. He's like,
It's
yeah,
super.
the mud is like basically up to here. He's like, sure. Uh, the Mariner dives into he orders her to go open the gate, and then he dives into the water and swims like a fucking dolphin
It
and
just pops out.
explodes out of
Yeah,
the water.
sure.
Just like a dolphin onto it. It's so weird. He
Yeah,
knocks out one guy and then uses an attached cable to clothesline a jet skier and then tosses a machete. Is about to like
yeah. He
across the
saves
river
the
or whatever.
sheriff kind of dude,
Yeah.
and his kid.
And
Because
then
like, hey, you were okay that I did need to die, but you were at least cool about it.
that's right. He's not so eager. And then Deacon orders kamikazes, which is just an empty ship that drives into the gate and explodes on impact. That made a hole.
Yeah, that's the line, right? Is
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's barely even looking to. He's like just like letting it. It's like, that made a hole. I love Mariner tossing like the harpoon at the Nord, and he misses, and he just when the guy looks, he's like, "That much, I missed you by that much."
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he makes that little
Yeah,
because there's like a like he took his boots, so now he's got your name now. He's mad. You took his boots.
it's his special ski boots, which he can barely walk in. Um, so the best part is Deacon is unhappy that Mariner is getting away, so he orders some of his jet ski goons to go and chase them down. Mariner uses his harpoon gun on his ship to hook onto the anti-aircraft boot, and then he steers it so it fires into the guys chasing him. And Deacon sees what's about to happen. He's like, "Hey, why is that guy still shooting? What's that cousin's name?" And like, it's Chuck. And then they all start shouting for Chuck, but he doesn't respond. And
Maybe he
Deacon
doesn't
then,
go by Chuck. Does he go by Charles?
yeah,
Charles.
Charles
And he keeps going Charles up until like adios cousins and he
yeah,
just jumps. And
jumps out.
it's
And a giant
fantastic.
explosion. It's so
Yeah.
funny. It's so funny. Maybe he doesn't go by Chuck. Call him Charles. Charles. So great.
You gotta love the dumb the villains looking at each other like, oh, what did we do?
It's like, oh, we fucked up at work bad.
Whoops.
So later on, they get attacked by a plane. Later, we find out that plane is flown by Jack Black.
Really?
You didn't know that, huh? Missed
No.
that? All
Missed
right.
it.
Easier to miss versus the extended cut. But yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
Jack Black there flying the plane. Uh, And the gunner on the plane starts firing on the boat, and Helen and Nola take cover, and Mariner goes below deck to get gear.
And he
And
thinks he's running away like a coward.
right, and then when the machine gun jams, Helen goes for Mariner's deck harpoon and fires on the plane and hits it going right through the machine
Well,
gunner.
as soon as he
Nice
sees it
shot.
going for it, no, like he like
Right, but like
really
let's
bad idea.
listen, it was a bad idea, but let's
Yeah.
give credit where credit's due. That was a great shot by Helen. That plane is
Yeah.
moving.
I mean that it is prime for what's his name in Blade to give his little, nice shot. Like
There you go. Deacon Frost.
Deacon Frost,
Uh
yeah.
so yeah, it's now the plane and the boat are stuck together and they're just going in circles. It's a shame he
And
wasn't
it's
getting closer
lifting the
as it's
boat,
happening.
which is like a fun little, it
Right,
keeps
yeah, the
lifting the boat.
harpoon gun like lifts off the deck and it's now stuck in the sails. Uh Mariner yells for her to cut it, it's too late. Um, she. Oh wow. All right. Some talk to text got screwed up here. Uh,
Typical.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm going more off you because again, I didn't get to finish my notes that well.
So then the pilot tries shooting off the line, but he misses and almost hits Mariner. And Mariner's like climbing up the sail to try to unhook the thing. The pilot finally hits the rope, and the boat, now fully tilting off the water because the plane was pulling it, slams back to horizontal, and Mariner goes fucking flying. I
Lion.
mean,
It looks
woo!
good. It
He
looks
got
legit like he
air. Oh,
got
it's definitely a
flown.
person flew. I don't think it
Yeah.
was Kevin Costner, but yeah.
Yeah. But it's still fun to see someone like, ooh, he went flying.
Yeah, it was funny. And that's when the hair goes. Uh, Helen complaining about food again, and Mariner grabs some gear below deck and then goes overboard and allows himself to be dragged by the boat, turning himself into bait. And a
Yeah, but we don't
giant
get to see much
CGI
here.
thing eats Mariner and he kills it from the inside.
Is that what happens? Because
Yeah,
you just see water mostly, or like what do you call it? Like you just see kind of, I don't know.
maybe it's more clear in the extended, but yeah, he's definitely got swallowed and he like blows it up from the
You
inside.
see it like coming in the mouth opening, but then it just goes off like a far away
I
shot to
couldn't quite
just
figure out what it was
water
supposed to look
rapid
like,
look.
so yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, because it just cuts to him throwing meat on his little
They're
cooktop thing.
they're happily eating a yummy fish monster.
Yeah, and then he's like, anybody want an eye? He's like doing like full Shrek, like I want the jelly from the eye kind of deal. He's
Right.
going for it, yeah.
Mariner speaks Portuguese, Greek, the
Yeah,
language of
what
the
is
barters.
this? Portuguese. What is this?
The language of the barters.
Sure.
Yeah, why wouldn't you connect Portugal and Greece? They're totally close to each other.
It's just
Uh,
so similar.
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
And it turns out it's a trap. Uh, the deacon has been waiting there for him. And he's killed all the barters and puts their arms on pulleys. And like Kevin
Yeah, it's
McAllister
like
making,
full out of Home Alone,
yep,
like
I literally
yeah.
wrote down Kevin McAllister making pretend that they're waving. Uh, Mariner luckily spots oil in the water and knows it's a trap. He checks his below deck periscope. I'm like,
Just to make sure.
couldn't we make this thing a little longer? Why do we have to make him bend down like that? It looks ridiculous. Um, and that's where we get that cool tilting the boat action that Tim was talking about before.
Yeah, he makes them go on one chair to help
Because
with the
to avoid
weight
these
to
giant
lift
nets
it.
coming through out there being held by
Yeah.
jet skiers. Uh, I don't know what kind of gun that was that the Deacon shot an escaping Mariner with. It's very unclear.
I
The
don't
guns in
know,
this
but
movie are
he
weird.
uh he heals real
They
well. I wonder if that's part of his mutant abilities too.
could be. All the guns like have some kind of weird muzzle on them. Like sometimes they look like blunderbusses or whatever. It's bizarre.
Yeah, but then like other times, like you have Mariner there have like a shotgun towards the end, and you're like, all right, that's like a normal
Right.
looking
Yeah, it's just like a
shotgun.
normal shotgun.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, sure.
Um don't want to talk about that.
I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
actually, I think it's smart. So Deacon has Enola, and he orders Mariner and Helen killed and the boat torched. Mariner grabs his quick pull line and pulls a noose over closest goon's head and hangs him real quick.
hmm,
And Mariner and Helen go overboard, and Mariner promises to breathe for both of them. Don't understand that math, but whatever.
Because
They
he could breathe
dive.
in the water with his gills to create oxygen to make it go out of his human mouth. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. If you're breathing
Sure.
out, it still become carbon dioxide. So,
Yeah.
uh,
He's a mutant. I don't know.
yeah. So anyway, well, the part I want to talk about is like they dive in and the bullets don't hurt them, and we learned from a Great Mythbusters episode that checks out. The science is real.
Yeah. It dissipates and changes trajectory enough. Yeah.
Well, luckily, the fire from a mariner's ship leads them to Gregor, and they're able to resupply. And Mariner goes back after Enola himself.
Yeah, they have like a weird little floating
I
thing
love
of
that my
survivors that somehow found them.
right. I love that my guy while he's climbing the D's goes all the way to the top, catches like 2 seconds of the guy's speech, and then he sees like the two guys on the jet skis below him. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go all the way back down now." He like swan dives and takes them both out.
Yeah, it was weird why climb up to go. I guess because he's like, I don't want to get spotted this soon or be alerted this soon, so that's why
He's
I
like, "I
got to take
just
him out.
climbed all this way." I'm like, "Fuck it, who cares if they know?" He's like, "No, more stealth. Man. I'm going to go all the way back down." Like,
Yeah, I
luckily,
guess because I guess it does lead to. I really do enjoy him taking the jet ski back into
the ramp.
the
Yeah.
ramp to like I guess the docking station of sorts. And the guy's
Hmm.
like, bring it in slow, bring it in slow. I said slow, but he's just like he's doing like a whole like something you've seen in 1,000 movies, the ramping up kind of deal, like what's going on kind of deal. And then it really does look like he like totally gets taken out by a jet ski like into a pole. It was like, oh, nice.
It
Like,
was.
yeah.
And then like during Deacon's big speech to the crew on the top deck, we get clips of Mariner like slowly making his way through the ship and
He's like
killing a
Batman
bunch of
all of a
dudes.
sudden.
I was gonna go like Silent Snake, but yeah,
Sure. It's a lot of upside down strangling.
you did one of those, yeah.
I thought there was at least two.
You might be right. I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know. He's like
another
hanging
one.
from chains and
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
It's
hanging from things and taking people out. I was like, okay.
um, and then the crew gets sent back down below deck to do their rowing, and he goes back up and he does this nice hero walk across
Yep.
the the tanker. And for
But that's
some
where you get the
reason,
nice little thing about the girl talking a lot. He's like, yeah, I know. Like,
I for some reason none of the bad guys recognize him until he takes his goggles off. It's like
yeah.
it is him. You guys are in so much trouble. And then Deacon gives it a little smack on the head for that. It's like, well, I'll be damned. The gentleman guppy.
You gotta love, she is the hype man. Like, she is
She
hyping
really
this
does. I
man
was gonna
up.
cover that in side characters, but yeah, she's definitely like, he has no name, so death can't find him. And I'm like, oh shit, that sounds cool.
Yeah, this is like if you were gonna do like a sequel and the teaser trailer for the sequel, you just use her like saying stuff as like people are gonna take it out or
I am
something.
all for more Tina Majorino work. Let's go. I'm all for it. Um, so Mariner says he just wants the girl, nothing more. He doesn't get her, he'll drop a flare into the oil tanker and explode the ship. And he just he only wants her back because she's his friend.
Yeah, he doesn't even care about dry land. He just wants his friend back.
Just wants his friends. I just want my kids back.
So like
Uh,
he just wants his machete back.
there you go. Deacon says Mary's bluffing, and Mary just smirks and drops the flare. And that's where the old man's like, "Oh, thank God, this is about to die."
I still love that. It
It's
might
my
be my
favorite part of the
part of the
movie.
whole
It
movie.
really is. I laughed so hard. And then Mariner jumps below deck and starts like picking survivors off with the shotgun because like the giant explosion. I mean, massive
Yeah, it's
fire
good.
shooting all over the deck, like fire like turrets or whatever. It's
It
incredible.
doesn't stop too. If I feel like you periodically you just get another explosion at a different part of the ship, like you
Yeah,
just get another one. You're like, nice, okay.
yeah, and like Deacon's yelling, "Just don't stand there, kill something!" And then flaming jet skis like pop out of the side of the ship for no reason. Like, oh, nice. Mariner goes swinging through the sky like Spider-Man on a chain and kills the Nord's gunner and Deacon's car. There's a car on the ship.
Yeah, it's how he
Uh,
gets along in the big long ship. He has like a
yeah, it's
little
like a
car he
freaking
gets around.
Cadillac. I don't know how it got there, but it's there.
Sure, why not?
Uh, a classic car too. And then, anyway, Nord drives into like a pole in flames, somehow survives. Sneaks up on Mariner. And it's like, you should have stayed in the water. And the gun's not loaded or whatever. And so Mariner
Yeah, it's like
wordlessly just
empty.
blows him away. I was stunned at the restraint that he didn't give him a kiss offline. Stunned.
It was a little anticlimactic. I didn't like
You
it.
wanted the Arnold line. You wanted him to
I
go Roger
wanted there to be
Moore.
more of a fight or something here or something to get his revenge.
Nah, Costner, cowboy, thinking
I guess, man, he stole your
Lawrence.
boots.
He did. Uh, so yeah, then Deacon is getting ready to take off on the plane, and Mariner creates a zip line with a harpoon gun and uses an anchor to hold the line and zips down. Bolt still exploding, lots of fire everywhere as Costner is sliding down this thing.
Yep.
Some of it is clearly stuntman, some of it is clearly Costner,
Outpaces the
and
plane.
and you can kind of yeah. Well, plane's not that fast in the beginning. You can kind of see like Costner looking a little uncomfortable. Real
He gets
acid?
past it enough that he has a good amount of time to set up his next move.
Right, yeah. Which is to grab the anchor, attach it to a different line, and hook on like a miracle hook shot
Yep.
onto the plane's like underbelly and like comes crashing down and the
Yeah, he
plane
like totally
crashes into the
removes the
plane.
bottom part of the plane.
Right, and the plane goes crashing into the boat. Somehow both of them survive.
Yep. In like or a ship that's already basically exploding.
Right, they're trapped. Luckily, Gregor is there with the rest of the crew. They've rebuilt the flying machine to being a minivan. And
More legroom now.
yeah, and they save
Yep.
him. But then before they can finally get away, Deacon like comes running over like Christopher Lloyd in the Addams Family. He's like all shoulder like ah,
Yeah.
and hooks uh onto the rope. And then all of a sudden they notice it gets
He's climbing
heavier,
that rope fast, by the way. I was
real
impressed.
fast. Doesn't have to hold on to a kid. Helps.
Yeah.
Uh, and Helen like tosses like a can at his head or something like that,
Yeah,
and
and then
then
I think Enola kicks
Enola kicks
too.
him and he falls to the water.
Yeah.
But then Deacon finds a jet ski with a gun, shoots the airship. Like we're not done yet. Like I would have thought that would have been it.
Yep.
No, they shoot the airship. Enola falls into the water. Remaining jet skis go after. It's like Deacon and two other guys, all coming from different directions, but we're all to her. And Mariner quickly ties a rope to his leg and tells Helen to tie it off and jumps. Helen ties it in the nick of time, and Mariner grabs Enola in the water and bungee jumps back up. Deacon and the two other jet skis all crash into each other. Huge explosion.
This is where I cackled and was like, "Oh my God, that's so dumb."
They didn't do the sound effect for the bungee jump. I liked it.
It is real stupid. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't get me wrong. Like it I think two could be this true at the same time. It's a lot of fun and it could be truly dumb at the same time. Because like as soon as you're like, wait a minute, what? And then it's like, oh, and you kind of get the gist as he's falling, like this is gonna be a bungee jump. Somehow this rope can act as a bungee cord.
Right.
Thank the Lord, right? And then how they're all yelling, ah, as they just run into each other and just this massive explosion is just like, oh my God, this is so
See,
stupid.
I love it all. I think it's all
Again,
great.
both are true.
But here's the thing: the problem with this movie uh, is an action movie, and I really like this movie. Is that there's only about three action scenes in it. Now they get their money's worth in all of them,
Yeah.
especially the atoll attack and the attack on the D's.
Yep.
They are definitely balls to the walls, great action scenes. Impeccably composed. You can follow the action the whole time, and there's something interesting to look at all times.
Yeah, I actually
They're
almost had a
exciting,
problem in the first set because it was like I can't take I had to pause more. I was like, I can't even take notes as fast. There's so much going on
right?
in that first action scene alone that it was tough to note it.
Right. But then in between, there's like a it's still
It's
like a good movie, but it's not action anymore. It's like we're
yeah.
floating. We're floating.
Yeah, there it
We're
drags as an
carried by
action
good
movie.
performances, but like there's not a lot here. So I could only, and as great as those first two action scenes really are, the first and the last one, I could only
Right.
give it a 3.5 tops. I mean, the explosions are spectacular. Those two action scenes are great. The one in the middle is fine, the plane stuff.
Yeah.
But what they we do get out of it, it's great.
Yeah.
And
Um,
all practical and awesome.
it's a lot of practical. Again, like really, there's just like one or two rear projection underwater stuff, which I kind of get.
I don't even, yeah, you're right.
That's not great. And I think that's nitpicking. So I agree. I went three, and I agree on why I didn't go higher. Is the same reasons you didn't go higher. It just kind of drags in between those set pieces. So yeah, I went three.
Okay.
Kind of
I'm
three across
definitely,
the board so far.
I'm definitely higher than you.
Yeah, because I think you went more three and a half and four. You went four.
For the Deacon, yeah.
Man, that's okay.
So, Janine Triplehorn playing Helen is
Yep.
looking pretty hot in this.
Yeah, she looks real good in this movie.
Yeah, man.
We got her in the 92 season, didn't we? Did we?
Uh,
Did we not? Maybe I'm confused. I might be
Janine
confusing her with
Triplehorn,
someone similar.
maybe? I don't, now, okay. Now I gotta check that. I don't think
I
so.
could be wrong. Could be someone that's got the same aesthetic look to her. I don't know. I'm not even sure which movie I'm
Uh,
thinking of.
I don't know. Well, you're probably thinking of the firm, but
Hmm. Did like the
no,
firm.
this is her only. No, in '92. Sorry. No, we didn't cover Basic Instinct.
Okay.
It was her first movie. So yeah, she's looking pretty hot in this. She's playing Helen, the woman who one day found this little girl in a basket with dirt in it and decided to basically become her mother.
Man, I didn't even get those. Does that come from the extended?
No, that's in the regular
Is
one. Yeah,
it? I don't even
yeah.
remember that part. You kind of get there's a throwaway line at one point saying I'm not her actual mother. But I don't remember any detail other than that.
Well, there's a where they're arguing about dry land existing or not.
Right.
She one of the things she says like it was I know it's real because Enola came from there. That she came in a basket or something like that with dirt darker and richer than yours. But yeah, it's in both
I don't remember
versions.
that line at all. Okay. Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah. So she's been looking after her. Uh,
Very loyal.
yeah, she thought that Enola was special, and everyone else thought that she was a freak. Uh, Mariner, which causes Mariner to sympathize, considering how his whole life has been.
Right.
Uh, I thought that the sex scene, well, whatever, embrace scene, makeout scene, whatever, was
Yeah,
odd.
like the burning boat.
Right, like she's like, "We're gonna die here, aren't we?" And he just like doesn't answer, and she asks like, well, "Why didn't you take me when I offered myself to you in exchange for our lives?" And he's just like, it's exactly what we thought he, from his
Yeah, you didn't
face
want
already
it.
told us. Right. And that's when Helen decides to give him all the smooches,
Yeah.
and they bang. It's odd, but um, overall, I really like Jeanine Triplehorn in this movie.
I think she's
She
fine.
she carries the vacuum of because Costner doesn't talk much.
Right.
She's never gets annoying, which
No.
this part easily could have been.
Yeah, because she really doesn't get to do a whole lot.
Not physically, no, but you also never get the impression that she's weak. Like she comes
She
up,
doesn't need to be
exudes strength.
rescued. She doesn't. She doesn't. And I like how like I think at one point she even hits him when he throws Enola overboard.
Yeah,
She just straight up hits him. So it's yeah, no, it's not like she's like not like tough, I guess. But she's really not doing anything besides kind of just being like, "Hey, you're a jerk and you need to help us." And that's basically it. So
but to
yeah.
do all that without being annoying, not an easy trick.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And again, she's a good actress, so she's just charismatic naturally,
Hmm.
so it helps for sure. But I think it's a weak character, so
You got baby Tina Majorino playing Enola.
I think she's the bright spot for side characters,
The girl, she's
for
my favorite
sure.
part. Yeah.
It takes a while though. It really is the latter half where she really starts pulling weight. You know what I mean? Like it's not till around the comments about like you should cut your hair or
Right.
hey, she said sorry, like that's kind of when she starts to turn it up more and then gets even better towards the end with her hype machine that she's got going on.
Right. But yeah, she's really funny. She's got the brightest blue eyes in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, and she never goes to like annoying kid either.
Yeah.
Like she shows a range of emotions on her face, really advanced stuff for a kid that age.
Yeah.
But she's an incredible child actress.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's side character wise, I think she's the best part
Yeah, loved
for
her on
this
Veronica
category.
Mars. Wish I saw more of her.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then you got Michael Jeter playing old Gregor, who's trying to help out Helen and Nola.
Yeah.
What a weird, what a weird part for Michael Jeter. Uh,
It's yeah,
no one talks like him in this movie. It's just
sure.
bizarre. Uh, but he's
It's out of
clearly having a
nowhere.
ton of fun.
Yeah, he's really cartoonish.
I like
Um,
that he was able to solve the mystery of the back tattoo with like a Chinese food menu. It's like, oh, I
yeah,
understand the
although
numbers
he
now.
he had to be told it was upside down, so he's like, oh, yeah, it's like okay,
But yeah, I thought it was fun while he's around. The
yeah,
other
I
standout
guess,
performance, the other one, this is the between Tina and this performance. Kim Coates as the creepy Irish drifter.
yeah,
He does a really nice job.
he does. Like he really does a great job of being like this dude has lost his mind.
Right, and you're like, I don't know, is he just a moron or is he like? But he's also presenting like serious physical threat at the same time.
Right. Well, I think it's more because he's so manic, you don't know what he's capable of or what he's gonna do is kind of what he pulls off really well. Like I like
Yeah,
where like even Mariner here is like, you've been out here a long time, haven't you? Like he knows like he's something's loose.
right. But yeah, it's both funny and scary, and yeah, really great performance by him.
Yeah.
So I give this category a three overall.
I went 2.5.
Below me on everything.
I'm not low on every I
No,
think this
below
is
me. I said
oh
below me
below
on
you.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, basically. But I think I'm pretty respectable in a lot of this, right? Three, 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 2.5. I think it's an overall of 11.5. I think I got it at.
I gave it a 14.
Man.
Yeah.
So that means it is your number four movie now.
Yeah.
Wow. It is over Virtuosity. That's crazy. I have it at 11.5. I'm putting it um and I mean action wise, I don't know, it's probably better. But anyway, I got it at 7. You got it at 4. Um, I got it in between Mortal Kombat and The Hunted.
Your love for Mortal Kombat is so impressive.
It's
Uh,
probably because of the era that it was in. I don't know.
all right.
But yeah, we I got Virtuosity a lot higher, but it's also because like I watched the heck out of that movie probably.
So you ready to play America's favorite game?
Body Mass Alone.
Body Mass Alone.
I don't want to have conversations anymore about dudes' physiques.
Dennis,
And whether
in
they can.
body mass alone.
That's what I was trying to avoid. A conversation about body mass.
Okay. All
Uh,
Well,
Costner's look
I know you're going to give appreciation to the butt double.
not just the butt double.
I know
I
it's in
like
the
to.
category though, because you do.
Well, yes, I did literally write down hats off to Janine Triplehorn's butt double.
Yeah.
But first, I just want to point out that Kevin Costner looking very trim in this,
Yeah.
showing plenty of skin and chest hair, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more
Yeah,
action heroes with hairy chests.
he's I wouldn't say he's like got guns like big arms, but he's
It's
showing
got
off his
swimmer's build.
arms.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think he showed his chest more in the beginning. He does, it almost
right.
looks
He gets the
like
wetsuit shirt later on.
yeah, it looks like Helen took his top to show her cleavage more. Uh
I didn't pick up on that.
I think that's what it is because she's in a dress earlier.
Right.
and she undresses her dress, right? And then after that scene, she's dressed differently. So it looks like she's wearing his clothing or whatever. Um, and so yeah, so he doesn't have as much of a chest revealing attire anymore.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
I gave it a three.
see here, I went a little bit more generous. I went four.
Didn't like the butt double.
It was a nice butt.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
She approved that one herself. She had three girls come into the trailer, and
Oh
she got to
yeah.
choose. Yeah.
Wow, she got to choose her own butt double. Look at that.
Yep. So yeah, the future. The polar ice caps have melted, covered the earth with water. Those who survived have adapted to a new world. Waterworld.
I like
Uh,
how I read a whole article on how the science behind this is flawed, which I thought was fun.
sure. Yeah.
Someone
No.
took their time to write an article about this.
It's
Like if
like,
the polar ice caps were to melt, yes, there would be a lot of land that gets covered, but by no means would it be like this.
yeah.
Like,
There's not enough ice up there. It's
yeah,
not going to raise that high. I don't get the point of the gyro feature on Mariner's main mast, which
I
is
don't
only
get it
spinning in the
either.
beginning of the movie. It's just like there. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Did you like the line too? I forgot about the Deacon line, where I think it's the first time that he like lets his sail go, and like the Deacon's like, "Oh, I
Hate
hate
sales.
sails." It's
Yeah.
like, why?
Because it's all about the gas.
I guess, but it seems
That's
like
the one thing I that drives me nuts about the villains in this movie, and it's even more pronounced in the extended cut. Is like these guys are just like the evil capitalist industrialists, and but it's
right.
so weird because
They're
like
hitting you over the head with it.
okay, but they can't be because they don't have any real concept of industry, but everything like we're gonna dam the rivers and cut down the trees and like put up
But it's
condominiums. Like
also
what are you doing?
weird that
You should have no concept of this stuff. Like
yeah,
what?
like it's just an odd concept how like sales clearly seem to have the advantage
Yeah,
over
don't need
gasoline
gas.
every time, which is weird to me,
Right.
but like okay.
Till it's not windy. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess,
Uh,
but even at that point, like really, like it's gonna be faster. Like I guess you also have to realize like they have to conserve their gas and their energy. They can't
right.
where wind is
It's a
endless, right?
finite
So
resource. This is
yeah.
all part of it. You know, like why did Waterworld get existed? Because of environment. You know,
Yep, yep,
so it's
yep,
like
yep.
it's all just very like hit over the head with that part.
Yeah,
Which
it
like, I was like,
really is. Yeah.
listen, I'm on your
Which
side, but stop preaching.
it is a trailer guy voice doing the
Totally
int.
is. It's just weird to hear at the beginning of the movie. I'm like,
It's like you belong in a trailer. I'm
yeah,
watching the movie now. I don't like that you're here. Like, what is
it's
this?
not your time now.
Yeah, this is.
Go
You
home.
already got me here to the movie. You should now not be talking.
So the sets in this movie are fucking tremendous. That
Yeah,
atoll is the best of the bunch.
yeah,
Looks lived in and run down, but also like a grand scale. So
right.
hats off to David Gassner. Not surprised you end up going to do three Daniel Craig's Bond movies.
Yeah, I mean they're impressive and they were crazy expensive and a lot of things went wrong.
Yeah, I love the tidbit where the direct Kevin Reynolds went to go talk to Spielberg about shooting on open water. He's like, "What
Yeah,
advice did you give me?" He's like, "Don't do it."
yeah.
Didn't listen. Should have listened to Spielberg.
I mean, apparently it was conceived as a children's adventure movie at first,
Yeah.
which would have been weird. And I guess it was supposed to be a lot campier even originally. So it's interesting.
Well, you
Eh,
can tell it's definitely been written for older when the when he's trading in his dirt at the atoll, and the guy just like starts like eating it like it's cocaine. It's like pure dirt, 3.2 kilos. What?
it's crazy how many people were that turned down the role of Deacon too.
I saw that. It was a huge list. I didn't even bother writing
Yeah,
it
like
out.
Samuel
Like
Jackson
everybody
turned it
turned it
down to
down.
do Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Good
Gene
choice.
Hackman turned it down. James Caan turned it down. Gary Oldman turned it down.
Right.
Gary Busey turned it down. Lawrence Fishburne turned it down. Like that's crazy.
Busey signed up to do Under Siege too, but then didn't have to.
Hey, could you got the payday without having to do any of the work? Like, yeah, why
Best kind
not?
of payday. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, crazy. I mean, it was budgeted at almost 10 million more than the $56 million Jurassic Park. So
and then
by
it
the
spent even
time
more than that when
production
it
started,
finished.
the tab had risen to nearly $100 million.
I got the final
Do you?
bits. I'll tell you at the end. But can I tell you some highlights from the extended edition?
Yeah.
So the elders of the Atoll go through Mariner's possessions after they've like kidnapped or captured him, and one of the guys picks up a thigh master and says, "Like we don't know what this is, but we believe it to be a torturing device." Which is like, God damn
That's
it,
eye roll worthy.
yeah. And then there's a good scene for Helen. Like, I don't think we needed it at all, but sad for Janine Triplehorn, where she gets to fight for the life of the Mariner at the meeting.
Well,
And she tells them all like our way of life is dying. We need a new plan. And that's when the town like turns against her and it's like we should get rid of Enola too. It's like but it's like I I honestly think spoilers here. 98% of the cuts were good.
yeah,
And I know that was a source of tension between Costner and Reynolds, so I don't know whose officially this cut is, the theatrical cut, but it's the correct cut.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if I have that information.
yeah, I know that they fought. I know that's a huge problem between two of them, both in directing and the editing.
Well, it
He
sounds like so
mentions.
many people like were like close to dying on this set.
Sure,
Or
Kevin
yeah,
Costner himself almost died. Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, some seagulls came after him when he was stuck on a mast at one point. His stunt double apparently used a jet ski to get to set and had to have the Coast Guard rescue him. I think Jeanine Triplehorn had to be rescued by divers at one point.
Gina
Uh,
Majorino got stung by jellyfish like 3 times.
it's yeah, well, yeah. She Jellyfish Candy became her nickname,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Um, Anyway, we find out this early on at this meeting too, is when in the extended cut that Helen just found Enola, and later on she says like, "That's the reason I couldn't have a child." They said the only way they would let her in is if she became my child.
Hmm.
And then like yeah, Deacon gives like an anti-evolution speech after finding out about Muto Mariner. The extended cut was for TV only, so there's no cursing or butt shots, which is a big problem. So a lot of like goat spit and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So I do have one note here too that says the fighting got so bad.
between
Um,
Reynolds and
yeah,
Costner.
but between the two Kevins, that Reynolds left the filming during post-production and Costner finished the editing duties himself.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think Costner was right from what I saw.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
One scene I do wish they had kept. Enola says, "Thanks for not killing us" to Mariner after they, the first getting on the ship, the boat, and everything, and she
Yeah.
gives him a little peck on the cheek, and he like just like pushes her away, and then she knocks on her butt. I was like, oh, I thought that was actually really good. And that would have been funny to have in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean I think it fits to what they were kind of already building there. So I think that would have been good.
Right. Jack Black gets a touch more of a speaking role in the extended. But this scene I really wish they kept in. There's a fun scene of Mariner enjoying his little tomato from his tomato plant, and he like cuts it into 3 pieces, and like the two girls are like behind him, just like starving and dying and looking at it,
Hmm.
and they think that he's going to like leave like a third of it for them, and he's like, "Nope, gonna eat that too." And he does it really slowly, and then as he's about to get up, he turns down and like licks the remnants, and they're like, "Ah."
Ugh.
Um. Oh, there's a terrible scene where Mariner has a CD player working, and he's listening to Miles Davis while they're sailing at night.
Interesting.
Oh, it's bad. This is the one where he like loans the crayon back to Enola.
Uh,
And he says like I'm not alone, the boat is my friend. And then Costner uses almost like a Maine accent out of nowhere. It's like, oh, this is a good cut on so many levels.
Fair
Uh,
enough. It's like probably the reason why some people had problems with Robin Hood.
I never did,
I
but
know, but I mean, we also saw it at, I think, probably the right time.
could be, could be. I think his movie's still great.
Because I think usually people that are older than me have a bigger problem with that movie, with
Yeah,
at
screw,
least Costner as that character.
yeah, screw.
I always thought it
Uh,
was fun.
yeah. You see, in the extended cut, Mariner ditches the atoll survivors on a stolen boat with no intention of going after Enola.
Hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, this boat's mine now." And that's when he makes it back to the charred remains of his boat, and then sees the drawings of her and the palm trees, and looks at his National Geographic. Great cut. No need for it at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Other way it would have been weird based off of what they've
but
already
we
built.
we do get robbed of another action scene with like two smokers come to the atoll survivors and are holding the survivors up, and that's where Mariner appears. Like first, he's stealthily taking out one guy and then killing the other, and that's where he gets the jet ski from. It's not just there.
Oh yeah, because he just shows up on a jet ski.
Right, and then he throws a Molotov cocktail at the other jet ski, and there's a gas trail back to the Deacon, so he knows how to the D, so he knows how to get there.
Ah, that does kind of make more sense. Okay. Didn't even think about
Uh,
that.
right, I didn't either. So originally, after crashing into the guy with the jet ski, there are two guys there in the dock who just think it's funny and laugh. And one guy's like, "I quit." um. Anyway, the reason he gives the extended cut for leaving Dryland is since he wants to go see if he can find more Mutos like him.
Huh.
And then Helen gives him a present and gives him a name and tells him the story of Odysseus and calls him Ulysses. It's like cool. Didn't need
Yeah.
that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So lastly, this movie had a budget of 175 million altogether, which is almost 362.5 million dollars today. Worldwide gross of over 264 million, which is a little over 547 million today. But if you consider like, it probably costs like 325 million, like because it's like double the budget as the advertising. Didn't make back as money, but they say it eventually broke even on VHS and everything.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Debuted at number one in its
Okay.
opening weekend. And the other debuts that week were The Net, which came in at number two, and Operation Dumbo Drop, which came in at number six.
I saw both those movies quite a bunch back in the day.
Oh, definitely saw The Net a lot.
Yeah, it
One
was
of
a
our mom's
favorite.
favorite movies.
Yeah, it was a favorite of the mom. So it's just interesting because it's like this movie is just constantly made fun of and killed.
Doesn't deserve it. I guess because of all the bad press. It's like Solo. You know,
Yeah.
we heard all the bad shit before we even saw the movie. Then we saw the movie, like, movie's fine, but because of all like the bad vibes beforehand, no one can shake it. It's just like, it's got a stink on it. It's bad.
Yeah. And again, I don't think it's going to be finishing that high for me, but it's clearly a lot like it's a watchable movie that's
Pretty much
entertaining.
guaranteed this movie's not going to finish in the top five, even if it's in there for now. But I
Yeah.
think it's like competently directed, great acting. It's a good action movie.
Yeah. Uneven, but yeah.
Yeah. So you ready to do what we're gonna do next week?
Yeah. It's your pick, right?
It is my pick.
What you got for me, man? What are you gonna do to me?
It's time to finish with our final Christopher Lambert movie.
Oh, here it is.
Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, aka The Final Dimension, aka The Final Conflict. You know the movie was a big hit if it had three different titles.
What what problems are we awaited? Oh my goodness.
I remember liking it when it came out. Definitely more than the second one.
Did you? I remember being like stupid excited for this one. And
Right, because like the TV show was a hit at the time. So like, oh wow, this I can't believe how much more money they're gonna get. The second one was so bad. We're just gonna pretend that the second one would never happened.
yeah.
Which is literally what this movie does.
Yeah. And I don't remember liking it to be honest, but I don't think I've seen it since it came out. Just another one where I don't think I've seen it since it came out. So I'm curious to revisit for sure. I'm a little worried. You know, it's like it's one of those weird things where I've like they've tried to make Highlander so many times now in Hollywood, and I think
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles is the bad guy. That's pretty good.
I've been happy every time that it has not been successfully remade. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to see this tried again. Like, I think the first one just nailed it. They never really quite got it after that. Like, I don't
I
know if
liked
I
the
really.
TV show. Um,
You liked the TV show more than I did.
yeah, it was good. Adrian Paul,
It
Duncan
wasn't the
MacLeod to play
same for me.
McLeod.
I think he was a
We're doing
likable.
Connor MacLeod.
I know, but like it to me, it was just like you're not it. You're not. I don't like. It was always weird to me. Like I just, and then they tried to give him like a sidekick dude. It's just like I don't know if I
Yeah,
vibe with this like I did with the original. You know what I mean?
I
Like
liked it. It expanded the world and everything. It
it
was fun.
did, it did. And I isn't he in this one?
No, he's in part four.
Oh, I forgot
This
that
is the
about that.
last Christopher Lambert, and then there are two with Duncan MacLeod. But the fourth part four is the one where Connor dies, which he
Yeah,
had already done in the TV show, and I think the pilot. But we just pretended that didn't happen when he showed up in part four.
yeah. Who needs that, right?
No, it's fine. We just need Christopher Lambert. We
I
watched.
forgot there were others. Dear Lord.
Yep, five in all theatrically released Highlander movies.
Oof.
Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Should be interesting. It's on Pluto apparently.
Yeah. All
So
right. You got anything else?
that's it, man.
All right, that is it for us. Please show us your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Adios, cousins.
Nice.